Hello. Yeah, it's more Dragon Quest. You know, I wasn't actually planning on picking this up. And I didn't. Thank you, Square Enix, every 20 minutes. No, they actually sent me a code, and I was like, alright. Sure. It's the Switch 2 version. And it is Dragon Quest 1 and 2. I've never played these. I did play 3, the remake, and I liked it. I've obviously played Builders and 11 as well. Kind of interested in 7, but I hear that game is massive. These are a lot shorter. Anyway, we're gonna play this. Thanks to the heroic efforts of the legendary Erdrick, the Lord of the Underworld was defeated, and peace returned to the land of Alfgard. Yet this peace was not to last, as the diabolical Dragon Lord rose up and unleashed horde upon horde of monsters on the realm once more. So yeah, I mean, getting a key for the game, I figure, why not? I'll check it out. I'll stream it a little bit. I don't know if I'm down for an RPG while I'm playing Final Fantasy Tactics still. But maybe. I'm a more recent Dragon Quest fan, but I really hope they do 8. I know everything's a remake these days, while we wait for 12 and every other game in existence, but for some of these games that I've never played before, yeah, I would like them with quality of life stuff. I'm okay with that. Especially if they're as good as the Tactics remaster was. If that remaster didn't come out, there's a chance I never would have played Tactics. And it's quickly becoming like a favorite game of mine.
Hero, can you hear me? A great darkness threatens this world. Left unchecked, it will swallow it entirely. It may already be too late. Nevertheless, perhaps you, Scion of Erdrick, might prevail. Please, you must make for Tantegel.
Remember that.
Must do all
I remember that name.
that you can. The fate of the world rests with you.
I thought the 3 remake was really good. I ended up completing it. I didn't do all the post-game stuff, but I did the ending, the first ending, whatever, and I really liked it. The 2D, 3D thing I know is a little overdone now for a lot of people. I think it still works if it's done well, and it was done well in 3. Seems like it's done the same here, so... Canst thou stand? Speak to me. 'Tis not. I can yet fight. Just a bunch of slimes. They're cute. Should we fall, who shall remain to keep the fiends from our kin? This fucking guy, this show-off. But yeah, I've heard, you know, this is a very simple game, Dragon Quest 1 and 2. But it was also one of the first RPGs of this type. It inspired Final Fantasy and a ton of other games, and, you know, I'm not expecting it to be this, like, incredibly detailed, complex, interwoven story and journey. But I hear there's some additions here. Best a whole host of monsters single-handedly is the work of no ordinary warrior. What bringeth thee to the forest alone, stranger? There's lots of these and thous, chat. Not real chat. This is a pre-record. Meta chat. The hero of legend. Hold thy tongue, thou addressest our deliverer. Addressest. We are the guardsmen of the king of that very realm. Allow us to escort thee hence. 'Tis the very least we can do. Behold, yonder lieth fair Tantegel. Wow. The dragon. Yeah, this is classic RPG. Heroes versus Dark Lords. It is as basic as you can get. His esteemed Majesty Loric the 16th. Let's see. From what I understand, in the original Dragon Quest, you had to go all the way back to the castle to save the game. At least I think it was this one. That might have been 3? I'm gonna read a little bit, but mostly I'm just kind of reading to myself. Like I said, there's a chance I end up playing more of this once I'm done with Tactics. Just because I'm kind of finally catching up on Dragon Quest. But I know things start getting really spicy after 3. Like, 3 is when it gets spicy. And then, you know, 7 I hear is cool and really, really long. But 8 is, like, the one I'm most interested in. I really like those character designs. Just looks cool.
Well met, traveller. It seemeth thou art a warrior of great skill. We have long awaited the coming of one such as thee. The captain
Some
did relate
voice
to me
acting.
the tale of how thou didst best a whole horde of fiends single-handedly, and did thereby deliver he and his comrades from peril. And not only this, but thou art of the bloodline of mighty Erdrick. Is this true?
Then thou knowest, of course, the legend of thine ancestors' deeds.
Sure.
But of course thou dost. Even babes in arms know the tale by heart. In days of yore, thy revered ancestor did receive of the almighty goddess the sphere of light, and by its power was our world rid of the monstrous menace that beset it.
Yeah, of course.
Yet the tales make no mention of any of the heroes' bloodline having survived to the present day. Thou truly believest it to be so? That thou art of the line of Erdrick?
Yes.
Praise be!
That's all he has to
These
say.
are glad tidings indeed. But possessest thou proof, perhaps, of this claim? Or are we to believe it based solely on a voice heard in a dream?
With head nods and simple yes or no answers, he can prove that he is of the royal
plainly wearest thy
dragon
heart on thy
slaying
sleeve,
lineage.
young man. 'Tis an
He's just got that
endearing
look
trait
about him.
indeed. Mine own line is one intimately entwined with that of the hero of legend. And according to the tales passed down among us, the hero who laid low the lord of the underworld was also guided by a voice heard
I didn't feel like
in
getting up to
dreams.
press the button.
Majesty, please. It will not do to share the secrets of the royal line so freely.
Calm thyself. Though we lack for proof, I would place my faith in this youngster nonetheless. Better that than lose all hope for the salvation of our benighted realm.
Yes, Majesty.
Now, young hero, thou too wouldst know the truth of thy bloodline, wouldst thou not? Then hie thee to the cave that doth bear thine ancestors' title, and to the shrine of rain.
Okay.
Return to me with what thou findest there. This shall be thy reward for aiding my guardsmen. Go forth, brave hero, and may the goddess guide thee.
I love RPGs. Sometimes. But especially RPGs where one must go to a cave. Okay. He's the hero of legend and he's level 1. When thou hast accrued sufficient funds, thou wouldst be well advised to purchase better weapons and armor. This could very well be someone's very first RPG ever. I don't mean the original, which that, of course, was definitely that. I had no idea how much of a phenomenon Dragon Quest was in Japan. Like, I didn't know they had to take like days off work to go get it. But yeah, this definitely looks like Dragon Quest 3 Remake. Anyway, yeah, I just had no idea this was like... I had heard of the series like a little bit, but it wasn't something that was ever on my radar as much as Final Fantasy was. But that also might be because when Dragon Quest Original came out, I was like 3. Shops, of course. Okay. I mean, 3 was earlier this year, so this is still pretty fresh in my mind. If I'm not mistaken, Tantegel was in Dragon Quest 3. It was like one part of the map or whatever. There is a fast forward option. Ultra fast tactics, show no mercy. That's actually how I fought a lot in Dragon Quest 3. It was fine. I like how the hero of legend has a move called cattle prod. Certainly is Dragon Quest. That's for damn sure. So yeah, when Dragon Quest XI came to the Switch, I'm sure most of you know this that watch my videos, but if you don't, that was when I first dug into the series. Actually, no, was it Builders? It might have been Builders, too. Like, the demo of Builders 1, I believe I played, and then I bought Builders 2. Maybe I didn't play 1. I don't know, it's hard to remember. But Dragon Quest XI caught me off guard so much that I played the whole damn game, because it was just really good. Abilities, Cattle Prod, Cop Out. I also am very, interested in knowing what surprises were added to these games, because there's like a few hours of game here in Dragon Quest I, apparently. And 2 was a little more substantive, but yeah. I remember that being one of the things people were talking about. Like, first, the main question was, why was 3 Remake released before 1 and 2? And I think just because it makes sense to get people into the series, because 3 is a really... It's closer to what you'd expect from an RPG these days. And it's just a really, really good game. I enjoyed it a lot. But still, relatively simple by today's standards. Also, the encounter rate is insane until you get Padfoot.
Not today!
So, okay, so they release 3 first. They definitely flesh out the world. It's a longer game. And I hear that this also has been expanded. Both 1 and 2. Nothing over there. Boy, I regret walking all the way over here now. Gotta go that way. I figured there would be some kind of secret over there. But yeah, it seems like they did a good job with these and expanding them. And adding substance. Quality of life is obviously the #1 reason, because going back to the NES version of this is probably, or Famicom version, is probably, like, God, oh no. No. But yeah, I mean, this is what RPGs were like. Take 5 steps, enemies. Once you get certain moves and spells or whatever, you can, and items, you can lower the encounter rate by a decent amount. Oh my god. Oh my god. We're good. We're fine. Everyone's fine. Erdrick's Hollow, Wayfarer's Chapel, Halen Home. Well, it's also nice that this pack has 2 games, so you could finish the shorter one, like, first, and then see if you want to do 2 later. Okay, our new armor. This is also why Chrono Trigger ended up being my favorite RPG. And Mario RPG to a large degree as well. Is encounter rate stuff. Random battles are now, like in those games you can just see the enemies and you can choose to engage or not, and Chrono Trigger has very, it's not the most difficult game, but the level of grinding is way lessened. Let's see. Zoomed in. Oh. Oh. There's a graphics mode on the Switch too. What? Yeah. Aw, man. That's probably not worth it for that little amount of... extra resolution. That looks fine. And the Switch 2 is a weirdly powerful console. Like, I've seen videos about what it's capable of. And, you know, some of the ports, like Cyberpunk, it actually is a pretty good console for power. But I feel like a lot of companies, like, Ukulele, for example, the Ukulele, locked the 30. Don't know why. You would think a game like that could hit 60, but I guess not. I'm not a game developer, and I'm kind of dumb, just to be clear. But, yeah, sometimes I read stuff like that, I'm like, wait, why? At last we arrive in Erdrick's Hollow. 'Twas no easy feat to reach it. Our onward journey will be a little easier, I fear. The hero's grave lieth in the cavern's deepest reaches, or so the legends tell. Let us forget this folly and return homeward. We barely made it this far in one piece. Do we really mean to dive headlong into further danger? Come, friends, now's not the time to lose heart. Together there is no hardship we might not overcome. Gird thy loins. I seeketh the grave, yes. When once again the fiend appear, to hero's tomb retire, therein the hero's power for thine own self to acquire. Thou wert led here by the old adage, wert thou not? Which maketh us rivals. Allow me to proffer a piece of advice. Look out behind thee. Hero of legend, everybody. How else is our esteemed rival to learn that a true hero must learn to see through such simple ruses? I'm also now hearing the very short musical loop. It seems like a lot of the songs have pretty short loops. Which, I mean, hey, checks out. It's an NES game. Let me use the nifty nut real quick. Alright. Nifty nut. Oh, we leveled up a minute ago. Hell yeah. Am I lost? Surely not. I need only think, I wonder if those characters were actually in the original. It's a cool effect.
Thou shalt not escape! Not today! Not today!
They do 1 damage. There's no reason to use that. It's a divine dagger. It does more damage against undead. There's something I do love about just simple RPGs of a dude going through a dungeon. I think chat knows this. Not necessarily a game like this. Like a JRPG, I mean, that's fine too. Like I said, Dragon Quest is probably the most dude going through a dungeon game I've ever played. But just a dungeon crawler, just like Grimrock style, like first person, swords, torches, magic, rats, ghouls. The dark it frighteneth me so. What I would not give to be safely home. Real heroes over here. But yeah, RPGs were weird. I mean, again, I'm sure many of you have heard me talk about this several times, but if you haven't, RPGs growing up, the first time I saw experience points in a game, I think, was Zelda 2. And I thought that was really cool. I didn't really understand it at first, but it was simple enough. And then, I rented Final Fantasy Adventure, or, sorry, Mystic Quest, because it had a sword. I thought it was going to be like Zelda. So I didn't know about stats and stuff. It didn't really make sense to me. I just wanted to hit things with a sword. Frightened? Me? Nonsense. I'm merely resting. Thou scarest me not, slime. Have at thee. It's asleep. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, sorry. Just like me to goo and fall asleep with my eyes wide open. I'm not a bad slime, really, Slurp. I just like a midday snooze now and again. I love Dragon Quest slimes, I really do. I have several of them by now. Whether it be like a little crystal slime from a blind box or like plushies or whatever. I think they're wonderful. So Final Fantasy Mystic Quests made no sense to me, and just as I started getting it, I was probably like, God, 7 or 8? Just as I started understanding it, and again, this isn't like where, you know, I grew up with internet, because I didn't, so I just had to figure this stuff out. No one told me what an RPG was. But I'm kind of figuring it out, and then I had to return it because it was a rental. And it wasn't until maybe Secret of Mana where, okay, now I'm leveling up, but it's still kind of like Zelda, so it was like a good mix. And it started making a little more sense to me. And then it was, I believe it was Mario RPG. No, it was Mario RPG or Chrono Trigger. I'm Erdrick, heed me well, bearer of my blood, heir to my destiny. If you would reach the evil island visible from the Tantegel shore, you'll require the 3 sacred artifacts. Gather them and you may yet cross that accursed isle, destroy the source of all evil, as I too did so long ago. Before my passing, I entrusted to the 3 objects to 3 great sages. If the fates have been kind, their descendants guard them still. When the evil rules the ill-starred island once more, gather the hallowed triad and strike a blow for the cause of light. No doubt, those of the line of sages await you somewhere in this world. Seek them out. The journey before you is a perilous one indeed. To that end, let me impart to you my greatest secret. Halt! Thou shalt not claim the hero's power. 'Twill be ours and no others. Oh my god, this music loop. Also, it was Chrono Trigger. Mario RPG was 96. But I have a story about that. I'll explain in a minute. At last we have found it, mighty Erdrick's grave, and on its way, and on it, his very own words. Let us see. Unwavering courage. Yes. Courage, that's all it saith? Come, there must be more. The location of a mighty sword, or the secret of a legendary magic. There is not. Curse it all, so the ancient adage was naught but a lie. Perhaps not. After all, what enabled us to prevail thus far, if not courage? Well, courage and just a little underhandedness. Forgive us. In our desperation for the hero's power, we did not comport ourselves as we perhaps should have done. Please understand, 'tis the desire for vengeance that drive us so. Our village was, the fiends attacked, and precious little now remaineth. It is as I feared. 'Tis not the place of the likes of us to claim the might of heroes. Come, let us return home. But if the fiends are not stopped, their evil will engulf the world. Surely someone must stand against them as mighty Erdrick once did. It's wild going from Final Fantasy Tactics' writing to this. And I know Tactics had, like, you know, different localizations and different scripts and stuff over the years. But just seeing how complex that story is. This is very basic. King of Tantegel. Tantegel? Join forces with him. Gotta be something behind here, right? No. So Secret of Mana was 93, and I remember I completed that with my cousin, and I understood RPG mechanics a little bit more. Well, a whole lot more, actually. But then he got me Chrono Trigger in... I think it was 95. Let me double check here. Chrono Trigger release date, North America. It came out in North America August 22nd, 1995. So it kind of makes me wonder, did I play it in 1996? Or did he just get that for me? I think it was a birthday gift. Maybe I was 11. That's weird. That just everything I've known about myself has been a lie. Huh. So it could have been Mario RPG that I played first. It very well could have. When was the exact release date of that? I'm trying to piece together my life history now. And video games are obviously a very important part of my life. Mario RPG North America release date. Wow, that's a day after my birthday, 1996. I feel like I got Chrono Trigger in 95. That's my overriding memory, but it's possible I got it in May of 96. It's also possible that it was a late birthday present in 95. I fucking have no idea. That I will never know. But, I mean, the reason I mention this is because I'm not really sure what my first, like, real RPG was. I didn't play Final Fantasy VI until emulators, believe it or not. Many, many years later. I didn't play Earthbound until many years later. So, however, my other cousin, you know, I'm an Italian, I got a lot of cousins. My other cousin had Mario RPG, which I played a lot. And that was also a rental. So I would play it there, get to a certain part in the game, and then I would rent it. So that's a pretty good first RPG. But Chrono Trigger is also a good first RPG. I also feel like I didn't appreciate Chrono Trigger as much at first as I did on subsequent playthroughs. I think that was something that grew in time. I knew it was good, and I know that my cousin and I played it together. Like, we would take turns, or I would watch him play, he would watch me play. But then I would play on my own. So yeah, it's a lot of scattered memories, but point being, both of those games I consider to be my first RPGs. And I really loved both of them. And Chrono Trigger, I remember just playing a lot and replaying it. Then the N64 came out, and that was obviously, for a while, all I played. And then the commercials for Final Fantasy VII started airing on TV. And sometime the next year, in 1998, is when I got a PlayStation. And trust me, I didn't want to get a PlayStation. I didn't like that Sony was taking Nintendo's thunder. I didn't. I was a kid. I had a Nintendo 64. Why would I ever want a PlayStation? Where am I going to get the money for a PlayStation anyway? Well, I saved up. And I got one. And I got Final Fantasy VII. And it was my favorite game ever made for a short time. And that made me fall in love with RPGs, really. And then from there, I went back and played more Chrono Trigger, and I think that's probably when it became one of my favorite games ever. I remember playing demos of RPGs, Legend of Legaia. I don't know why I'm giving you, the chat, this entire history, but honestly, this game is kind of mindless, in the beginning at least, because just the simplest shit ever. But yeah, and then Final Fantasy VIII took RPGs in a weird direction, and that was not something I cared about because I liked the music and the world and the story so much. And then when 9 came out, it was over, and it cemented that 9 was my favorite. I played 6 sometime after that, fully, and I was like, holy shit, Final Fantasy's amazing. But I weirdly never dug that deep into Final Fantasy from then. Meaning, I didn't go back to, like, 2, I didn't go back to 1, I didn't play 5. So, I did play 4, aka Final Fantasy 2 in the US. And that was great. But, yeah, I didn't play everything. How does one save? Oh. Fearless adventurers save frequently. This is how you save. Aside from autosave, right? But I didn't really know about Dragon Quest, like I said. It was kind of maybe something I heard of, but not very much. It wasn't until years later that I became aware of how important it was. And how it basically started the whole thing. Not fully started, I know that. I think, there's a good video I watched about Dragon Quest. Might have been Jeremy Parish. Let me see. Jeremy Parish, Dragon Quest. Dragon Warrior, yep. It came out a year ago. It's a really, really good video. High recommendation if you want to see, like, the history of the franchise and how it affected other games, and yeah. So I'm trying to also put myself in the mindset of someone who like was around in like, you know, who was like maybe 12 in the 80s, in like, you know, 85 or 6 when this, what I think this was 86 or 7. And what was that like? How did that become such a massive thing? And it's kind of hard to do that. Even playing the remake, it's just very, very basic. But I think from the standpoint of preservation, I don't know if you'd consider remakes preservation. I don't know if I would. I think it depends, is my answer in this imaginary conversation I'm having with myself. It depends on how faithful it is and how available the original is. Like, Final Fantasy VII Remake is not preservation. That's a different fucking thing. It's good, it's different. But Square also still sells the original, and they still just recently advertised it. They're like, it's on sale, you should pick up Final Fantasy VII and see where it all started. But something like this is a little bit more like, okay, it's 3D. And it's got its own art style, and there's different stuff. There's improvements in many ways, but it's still not the original, but it's really close. And then I look at Final Fantasy Tactics Remaster, and that, from what I know of the original, that's extremely close. Cat is sleeping peacefully and looks rather contented. That's nice. I think you could make an argument for Final Fantasy Tactics Ivalice Chronicles being preservation. And it also does come with the original, so that to me is a pretty good, strong argument. Fa la 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 la, fo di do di oh. That song is way too upbeat for what happened to this town.
And thou art Vine, an admirer of my work, perhaps?
No.
Nay, then thou countest thyself among a cohort of small indeed.
I am, of course, Zaylan, descendant of Galen, he of the Golden Voice, the storied bard of legend. I mean not to rest on the laurels of mine ancestor, virtuoso though he was. I mean to strike out on mine own, to seek out new veins of song. Though the climb I face is an uphill one, 'tis said that all Alfgard did shed a tear at the beauty of my forebear's fabled voice. Can such tales truly be based in fact? Perhaps. Can such feats be bettered? Only time will tell. Alas, I find myself somewhat uninspired of late. Though I once reveled in rebellion and subverting that which Galen was well loved, I tread that path no longer. I seek inspiration instead of the opposite, and following in his footsteps, and those of mighty Erdrick, with whom he was so famously firm friends. There's a place somewhere in Alfgard deeply connected to the hero of old, tied to the Erdrick legend. He wants me to let him know if I find such a place. Do you want to join my party? I could use more people to hit slimes in the face. My ancestor Zorno was well known throughout the land. A story long told of hard-earned victory. I was gonna say, we made it real far without a random battle. That was weird. Inevitably, this conversation of RPGs always comes back to Skies of Arcadia, which is my favorite game that I don't want to replay. Basically. And it's just the encounter rate sucks. And there's not a whole lot you can do about it. If ever a game needed an update with just some additional quality of life stuff and maybe some like level rebalancing, man, that would be so beautiful.
I know not who thou art, but I beg of thee, send word to Tantegel.
Tantegel.
Dispatched in search of Princess Gwaelin is no more, but she was seen. The fiends did spirit her away across the swampland south of Kol. I fear I can endure no longer.
We meet again, friend. But what is this? This man is a soldier of Tantegel.
I feel like I know that voice.
He hath breathed his last. His wounds are truly terrible to behold.
Is this thy doing?
No. Yes?
A message, thou sayest? The princess was taken across the swampland south of Kol.
Then we must go after her with all haste. Come, what are we waiting for?
But the party sent in search of the princess was comprised of our finest soldiers. Surely we will simply meet the same fate.
If thou art afraid, then away with thee homeward, coward. I will go to the princess's rescue, though I go entirely alone.
We cannot allow our comrades' deaths to have been in vain. We shall make for the swampland. You will remain here and see that this man is granted the burial he deserveth. Hie you thence to the castle and report on all that hath occurred here. Friend, I would ask a boon of thee also. News of these events will only stir discord among the people. I prithee, keep thy counsel.
Okay.
I understand that His Majesty had tasked thee with learning more of the hero of legend. I wish thee luck in thy quest. Now,
Captain! Canst thou continue?
Do not fret on my account. We have work to do.
There's good voice acting. Square Enix has been killing it lately with the voice acting. Tactics has such good fucking voice acting. It's insane. Really well done. And everything is voice acted there, too. So the captain doth his damnedest to suppress where the princess is kidnapped, the people whisper nonetheless. Were she a less familiar and friendly face to her subjects, perhaps the task might be an easier one. This is really nice music. I mean, it's kind of... I feel like Dragon Quest music is kind of spotty. I think about the default battle music in 11, for example. Oh boy. Like, this is really nice, the world music here, and, you know, once in a while you get some great stuff, and then it's just like, you know, again, limitations of the console, of course, but I think Sugiyama just gets lazy sometimes as well. I know that might be blasphemy, but that's just been what I've heard from the series, which is why they reused some of 8. Giggity. Welcome to Quagmire Cave. Here's another one. Maybe not lazy, but just kind of, it's just kind of there. And maybe don't use the fire on them. All right. Oh man, we're getting our ass kicked here. Holy shit. I think this would have been a good time to use debuffs. No more MP. Oh my god. On second thought, let us not go to this cave. 'Tis a silly place. Yep. Oh my god. Not even worth it. Oh god, it's not worth it. That was fucking horrible. pass on that cave for now. Use a level up right about now. Nope. '82 experience to the next level. RPG music is very, I feel, very important. I mean, obviously, that's some of my favorite music outside of the bands I like and everything. I think RPG music and video game music in general has defined me as not even a musician, just a person. As much as any other music I've ever listened to, but it is tough to make something that loops well for a game you're playing for hours and hours and hours that doesn't make you want to go insane. And sometimes Dragon Quest does it. Most times I think it does, actually, in the ones I've heard. And sometimes it's oh god, bag of laughs. I'm out. Shit. And sometimes it's just like painful. But you know, Uematsu and Mitsuda are the two that can like really make that happen in RPGs. There's a lot more too. And I'm just talking about like Final Fantasy and Chrono Trigger and Chrono Cross. I could also bring up Castlevania, but finding a way, I mean, I've thought about it. I've listened to some of this music and I've really thought about like how it, you know, how it goes from different moods and feels in the course of like a 1-minute song. To keep things interesting. I might be fucked here, I don't know. Might be under-leveled for this point in the game, actually. I just don't know. I probably should have gone back to the castle to buy some shit. But once I reach there, I can do exactly that. I'm having a rough go of it right now. Can get these guys.
I have thee now.
Corpse Corporals. Okay, run saved. I think you can use the Chimera Wing to get back here. That you can. Definitely get that. Guarantee this shit's gonna be in the next dungeon. That's really useful. Extra 5 permanent up HP. Up. But yeah, Dragon Quest 3 with the monster stuff, the Monster Wrangler class, and all the other stuff that they added. There's more going on. So far, this is like just very, very, very simple. Well done, but very simple RPG. But there's a Dragon Quest charm. There is something nice about it. Even for a man who sporteth naught but a pair of fabulous underpants may nonetheless be the finest, most trustworthy fellow thou e'er didst meet. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know about reading all of the dialogue out loud. Gotta be something back here, right? No. The other thing, too, is in a game like this, back in the day, they really wanted you to just figure out what to do on your own. And now we're so used to quest markers. I'm used to quest markers. I like to know where to go and maybe discover the side stuff on my own. But I don't know, I feel like a lot of that is just... It's nice that there's an option to turn it off. But I'm happy to leave that on. I don't think this game, the Lair of the Dragon Lord. Just right there, huh? I don't think this game had the same thing, because... I just don't know. Maybe, but I was watching a video about Castlevania 3, and how rentals were becoming more and more of a thing around that time. So, for the US version, I mean, I knew this, but I didn't know the exact reasoning, or if I did, I forgot. But they increased the difficulty of Castlevania 3 in the US to discourage from rentals. Like, it's not a very long game, it's like very stage-based gameplay. But to make it a little harder for the people in the US, they hath, increaseth the difficulty to make rentals more, you know, you can't finish it in one rental. So either you rent it more or you have to buy it. But it's also the early days of gaming where people were trying to figure out, like, how to, like, what do people want? And I think sometimes it's people want to just figure shit out on their own. At least maybe in the 80s that was the thing. But now we don't have the time for that. Everything's... Hell, I'm on my phone while I'm playing this. I'm on my phone. I'm playing the game and I'm doing commentary at the same time and cooking a hot dog with my feet. The king of Tantegel told thee of this place, and thy name is Vine. See, I cannot refuse thee. The royal line of that nation number along with our closest allies in the preservation of the legacy of the hero of legend. And to the one who returneth to us the lyre of ire. Mighty Erdrick could not have laid low the great evil without the sphere's aid. If the fiends now possess it, there is little hope for any of us. I cannot very well allow thee to go forth, knowing full well that thou standest not the faintest chance. Stay here with me for the night. Got a spot next to me on the bed?
Hear me. Can you hear me? You must meet with Root. Without protection, you might stand against the darkness. Seek out a means of summoning her. Of bringing her back to us. The fairies will. Able to help you. As well, of Tantegel must find them.
Thanks, weird spirit voice. Got it. She's indeed the mother unto this realm of Alefgard. She raised up each mountain. Ah, yes. It is not quite time to abandon all hope. For should her aid be thine, thou might yet stand against the evil that threateneth us, even though it wieldeth the sphere of light. Prove thy strength. Vine, proveth thy strength. You can use Zoom to return to any towns. Oh yeah. You can assign items, spells, and abilities with shortcut commands. Is that in 3? I don't think it was, actually. Items or spells. Or maybe I don't remember if it was. Maybe. Shit. This place is fucking massive. For what is ostensibly a text box. But Dragon Quest III also had, the remake had these like really huge elaborate areas that were used for like one thing. All right. I think that pretty much gives us an overview of the game. You know, it is very, very simple game. If you pre-order the game or bought it from certain shops. God damn it. I mean, I got the code from Square themselves. John Square was like Vinny. Vinesauce. I don't know. I don't know what that really means, but Vinesauce, listen. I want you to play this game. You may not love it as much as you loved Dragon Quest III. In fact, you might still be busy with Final Fantasy Tactics, but... Vinny. You must play Dragon Quest 1 and 2 Remake on the Nintendo Switch 2 game console family of consoles. And I said yes, Square. I answered the call, and here I am. It's fine. You know, again, I think this is a mileage may vary game if you have nostalgia for Dragon Quest and or you grew up in the 80s. I think it's probably going to be a nice game for you to check out. Like I said, I'm wondering what the bonus stuff is. I wasn't overly interested in this because I knew it was going to be overly simple and very like basic for a time that I didn't grow up with this stuff. But it's good. I mean, there's a chance I would complete one. I've already gotten this far, and it's not a very long game. So there is some... Maybe when I'm done with Tactics, I could return to this. But I think 3 was where the series really started. From what I read and, from what I've seen, that's where it really became like this really amazing kind of more depthful franchise. So in that sense, I don't know if this is going to be something that every person who like RPGs will enjoy as much as people who grew up with Dragon Quest or are looking for something really, really simple. But yeah, it is definitely more Dragon Quest. I am more interested in Dragon Quest VII, so the next time you see me stream a Dragon Quest game, it'll probably be 7. I don't want to be presumptuous and say I'll get a key from Square, but there's a chance. I think it probably will be a game that I check out and see what other games are out when that releases. And if I'm not playing anything like major, I might dig into it. But I know that game is like extremely long. I know that they're making some changes to its structure for better pacing, which gives me more interest. So I might check out Dragon Quest VII. It'll, at the very least, if I get a key, that'll definitely be at least a 1 or 2 off. But I really like the series. I love the designs. I love a lot of the humor in the world. I think it's just a really cool, just great medieval RPG. So I'm glad I'm catching up on these games. Don't know if I'm going to end up doing more of 1 and 2, but I appreciate the key nonetheless. And please, Square Enix, if you remake 8, I will play it day 1. I'm there. And also, Sega, you're not listening, but if you were, please, Skies of Arcadia, you can do it. Come on. All right, chat. Thou hast been freed. Go now. Thank you for watching.